with the first pick.
Took some really big thinkers in town to say, hey, there's nothing that we can't do here.
KC Sports Network presents the stories behind how the NFL Draft came to Kansas City.
It opened a door unlike anything we've had.
Join Marlia Campbell on the new storytelling channel at KCSN.
How do we sell and share what Kansas City is all about? Yeah, I'm going to work like hell to make sure we share the best, but it means that we have to be near flawless.
We deserve this. We deserve this. And we are going to host one hell of a party.
Hear from a few of those who made it happen, like Kathy Nelson, Quinton Lucas, and Greg Graves. And now, here's Marlia Campbell.
Over the last 4 episodes, you've heard the story of the key players who brought the draft to Kansas City. The ups, the downs, the inopportune torrential downpours, all of it. Now, we look ahead. Why put so much effort into hosting this event? From first thought to draft day, we're talking about 9 years.
I believe this is the biggest event our city will have ever hosted. We've been digging recently because I hate to say that and not have proof, but no one can tell me different. When you hear the mayor say this is the biggest thing our city's ever hosted, I'm going to run with that. I can't think of anything that competes with this yet. Maybe back in the early 1900s when they opened the National World War I Museum, you know, they had the lawn full of people, but it didn't have the television exposure that we will have. So I think when you add all that together, not just with the number of feet on the ground and the number of hotel rooms, but you add that marketing and experience and the ripple effect, I really believe this is the biggest event the city will have ever hosted.
There's the obvious impact, the direct financial gain from those 3 days.
On a very conservative level, our calculators with NFL's same type of thing working through, at a minimum, we're probably looking at about 154 million of economic lift, economic activity, economic impact, kind of all the same. It probably will surpass that, but I like to be conservative on that front end.
When they rent cars, when they go to restaurants, when they book hotel rooms, that pays for things like the Sprint Center. I should say the T-Mobile Center. So we want to have that giant big downtown arena. We pay for that out of fees on when people come to our town. And so when people come to our town, it pays for those things. And it helps pay for the Power and Light District debt and all the other things that we want to get done.
We know that our city will be buzzing those 3 days. And then on top of that, the marketing and television exposure for millions across the world. You cannot buy that kind of exposure. Every time they see Kansas City is probably worth $1 million.
There's a lasting impact. Kansas City Sports Commission CEO Kathy Nelson, Kansas City Mayor Quinton Lucas, and former Burns & McDonnell CEO turned NFL Draft Bid co-chair Greg Graves are excited about.
Yeah, the exposure is going to be amazing. I was watching a sports program, but I only listened to your podcast, so I won't mention the 4-letter network that it was on. But while I was watching this show, Sports Center, on whatever network, right, it was very cool because they had Union Station in the background, right? You're looking at the arches, that's what you call them exactly, in front of the windows, the fountain, all that sort of stuff. And this will be for weeks as part of the conversation. I think that's one thing that is just amazing for us. The other, though, is all of us who are from here, and some of us who are recent adopters. My other friend here in the office is from Toledo, Ohio. And so for those of us who are from here, you know, we've always known what we can be proud of. We're like, we have this thing and that thing, but not everybody knows. Having the opportunity to really just have that stamp of big, impactful, important place to notice, where not just this thing, but lots of other things are happening, to me allows us to market this city so much better, to market it to conferences and organizations, business relocations, people that are looking for a job, young people who are coming to our city. And that, to me, is really how we make a difference long-term for KC. And so for me, it is how do we actually really leverage this after the 3 days, which I imagine you'll ask me about. Sorry to get ahead of you. But during those 3 days, it's really putting on the best show possible and praying that there's not like a storm, which it's the Midwest. So hopefully, you know, we don't get what may be our usual in late April.
For business in general, on my Visit KC side, people go, oh, that's right, you're hosting the draft. It opens a door unlike anything we've had. And now being awarded the World Cup helps as well. But before with the draft, people say, that's right, the NFL picked your city. That gives people pause to say we need to consider Kansas City. They obviously have it figured out. It has opened the door on more convention and business meeting conversations, I think, than we've ever had. It gives us an opportunity to spotlight our city that week. We'll bring in what's called a FAM tour, familiarize yourself with Kansas City. We'll bring in key contacts of groups of conventions and businesses that we would want to host or bring to Kansas City. They'll come in for those days and see our city shine.
Then there's the lesson to people who live here.
There's this humility in Kansas City about its people, and it bleeds into its companies and even its greatest entrepreneurs. This humility of, do we really deserve what's happening to us? And maybe somebody else would be better at it, when the truth is nobody will be better at hosting the NFL draft than we will be. Not New York, not Vegas, right here. One, we'll have the best barbecue for sure that they'll get anywhere, but we'll also have the best environment as a host. And so you do have to get over that, oh, should we really bid on the NFL draft? Should we really propose that it should come to little old Kansas City? And you have to get over that and think ambitiously while keeping your humility, because it really is this unique Kansas City experience.
I hope this is something that inspires us to not just make these one-off events, but to instead say every year, every 4 years, we should be looking for something big, great, substantial, huge. This is where we actually catch up to the investment that we've been doing for so long. When I was younger, right, we had Liberty Memorial, which was not in good shape. We invested mightily in it to make sure that we could actually have the lawn that is so beautiful now. We had Union Station that was closed in this just terrible position. And the investment, that and a regional investment, has helped us get to where we are. We have streetcar access. We've got so many things that say, this isn't just like Kansas City's noticed for a minute. This is instead us saying we will be here a lot, consistently, again and again, in the same way that people keep going back to Nashville. I thought it was a fad. I went there for, I didn't go there for a bachelorette party, but I felt like I was at one. And, but people keep having reasons to go back. I think that will be the Kansas City thing that we launch from here. This is people noticing, oh, wow, that's a cool place. I need to visit. I need to get there. I need to invest. And I'm really excited about that for our future.
They want to come back. They want to bring their family here for vacation. They want to have a business meeting here. They want to move their business here. They want to move here. I hope that they take away that they see our heart and our kindness and our passion. And I think that's a pretty easy lift for our city to prove that.
Years of work for this one moment.
It is a challenge. I mean, it's a challenge of, how do I make sure that we get a lot out of this moment? It's not an easy time in American cities. There's a competition for talent. There is competition for investment. And, we may not have an ocean, we don't have mountains. And so for me, it is, how do we sell and share what Kansas City is all about in a confined 2.5, 3-day experience? And so, I'm going to work like hell to make sure we share the best, but it means that we have to be near flawless.
We deserve this. We deserve this. The NFL is lucky to have us as part of the program, and we are going to host one hell of a party.
And that's it. That's the story of how a very determined group of Kansas Cityans pushed through disappointment, obstacles, endless meetings, and detailed minutia to land the 2023 NFL Draft in Kansas City. I asked Kathy what she'd be doing right after the draft wrapped up, expecting a celebratory trip or vacation, but as you probably guessed, that's not what's happening. After all, it's this mindset that brought this story together in the first place.
I leave the day after to go to Phoenix for Big 12 basketball meetings, and then I get back, and 3 days later we're hosting the largest sports convention in the country in Kansas City. We were supposed to have hosted in 2020, and then of course in 2020 we were like, oh, let's just move it to 23, thinking that sounds great. So in May, kicks off May 7th, then for the entire week, we will have all of the event owners and decision makers in our city for 6 days of meetings. So my next break is about May Well, I laugh, I say May 15th, but then we have the Kansas City Triathlon that we own that next weekend, and then we run into a month of camp. So it's probably more like July before our staff gets a break, and that's okay.
Hey, thanks for listening to this series and the launch of our storytelling channel here at KCSN. A big thank you to BJ Kissel and Tucker Franklin for their hard work and support on this project. And of course, Kathy Nelson, Greg Graves, and Mayor Quinton Lucas, 3 very busy people who generously took their time to sit down with us and share this story. We'll see y'all at Union Station.